Hello. Welcome to Spring 2022 Health Coaching. I'm Dr. Lori Wagner, and I'm so glad to have you here and to be back with you this semester. I've been teaching this class for as long as I can remember. On the down low, this is my 25th year, so I've been teaching here for 24 years. I started in fall of 1997, and I've literally been teaching this class since maybe 2004. And I've been teaching it online probably since 2008. So I'm proud of it. I think it's strong. It did go through Quality Matters, and I did start teaching it last semester in Canvas. So I think I've cleaned up most of the issues that were on my end, and also learned a whole list of things to watch for that are issues on the Canvas end to just make sure that we're going to have a seamless and hopefully non-problematic semester, at least as far as my course goes. So I wanted to touch base with you about a few things. So health coaching is a skill that I think is really important in the field of health education and promotion. And as a master's certified health education specialist, I think it's supremely important for health education specialists to refine these skills. There are plenty of people out there in the world who are calling themselves health coaches, who actually are not real full health coaches. I usually equate it to personal trainers, right? There's all different kinds of pathways that people can take to be a personal trainer, and some of them are a little bit more rigorous and scientifically based than others. So our community health majors, just as an example, actually can qualify for the board certified health coaching exam. And are but don't need to because it's a core competency in our discipline, and we will fine tune a lot of those skills together this semester, even though you will be online. So the first thing is the course is in Canvas, and so you're getting this video like you will get most of my videos. So this video is housed on my YouTube channel, which I've asked you to connect with. It will also be in the module that is appropriate. So this is the welcome video that you'll find in Module 1. And then you'll also notice a video playlist module or folder in Canvas that will have the video playlists that you will contribute to, as well as anytime I add a new video, it will also be added to that list. So the videos will be in a lot of places, and it'll be part of the little piece that I'll ask you, when you're having questions, to make sure you've looked in these different places before reaching out to me, just to keep a little bit down on some of the email communications if something can be easily answered someplace else. But we'll talk about that in a second. So you'll notice when you go in that you have access. You should start at the home screen, and there is then a syllabus link, which will have both the PDF version of the more traditional syllabus, and then also Canvas's syllabus, which actually just kind of mines through the whole course and pulls out everything that is due with the due date. And you'll notice even different colors of things, and so things you already have access to, things you don't quite have access to yet, and then at some point you'll also see things that you have completed. And then Canvas uses modules instead of folders like Blackboard did. I like Canvas way better, don't get me wrong, but the modules I think are a little bit, let's call it seamless, meaning that there's not a clear like module 1 is done, this is module 2. So the modules will open up gradually as we go, and so you should be able to see them all there grayed out, because I'm almost 100% updated with our course, even though today's only the 12th. So I'm like a week early, which is pretty good for me. And in each module, then there is an introduction that will have a little paragraph for me usually, and then the learning outcomes for that module. There's a things to do for each week, and that's more from the original structure of the online course. So you'll see a little chart that'll have, read this, watch this, do this, that'll have the due dates. And then a lot of those things are also linked in there for quick access. But if you click through, you'll also get through each of those things. The second section after introduction will be the learning materials. And so there's where you'll see, the things that you're to learn. Let me just slow it down a little bit. And so you'll have access there to like what chapters you should be reading. Any of the PowerPoint slides are embedded in that section and any other little instructional pieces. And then you'll also notice a separate assignment section. The third section is assignments. And there's where you'll see the assignments with the due dates that will also show up on the syllabus link. And then I'm going to institute a summary link in this course this semester because I think that'll help us with, okay, module 1 is done. And so, because at the end, if you just continue, it's just going to start you in module 2, which if module 2 is open, you're free to continue moving forward. But I'm going to start to have a little bit more of a stop page that makes me feel better about when the end of that module is. Okay, so let me see. I'm just checking my list here. The next link is discussions. And I don't use discussion boards in this course or any of my courses, frankly, anymore because I hate them. So this course actually has live discussions. There are 6. They are scheduled all throughout the course on different days and different times. Let me just look up module number 1 because I forgot to write that down. Discussion number 1 is the What is Health discussion, just as an example, and it's being held live Saturday, January 29th at 11 a.m. So in the discussion boards, all we're going to do for those discussions is if you're going to participate in that live discussion, you're just going to drop a quick, I'll be at this one. And that way I'll know who to expect at each one. Discussions are limited to 10 live participants and active, I should say, 10 active participants. An active participant has the intention to show up at that live discussion, which is held in Microsoft Teams. The link is embedded in the discussion board. It's embedded in the module in which its date corresponds, and it also is linked on the calendar. So if you click on the calendar on the side of Canvas, all of my classes are set to populate there. So you can actually look at the calendar as well to see when every single thing in our course is due. And to the extent that I can, I'll have links there that'll take you straight to it. So the first 10 people who say I'll be there will be the folks whose names I'll sort of record as I'm expecting these people to show up camera ready. And so at whatever time those are, I will start them, I will record them. So the people who said I will be there and will be speaking, that's who's going to have the conversation with our cameras on. Again, I know there are tech issues sometimes, but that's the intention. And then the discussion will also be recorded. And so after those 10 people, anybody can show up to the live discussion and just be there like you would in class, sitting at a desk over there and not actually actively participating. Anybody who shows up, whether you're an active participant or a passive participant, automatically gets the score for that discussion. And once that discussion completes, it will be graded by me. So each person that was there, present, Teams will record attendance. I will go in and assign those points. And at that point in time, I will make available for everybody that couldn't be there or just didn't want to be there. It doesn't bother me. As long as there are people there to talk, we will have the discussion, and there are plenty of you to spread out across the 6 conversations. There will show up the discussion questions. Those will be assigned then only to the people that didn't show up to the live. And I do make mistakes sometimes, so just let me know if I've assigned it to you and I shouldn't have, because I do have to do that manually. So then I will go in, and anybody that wasn't there, I will say, okay, here are the 2 questions. Here's the link to the video. The video links will also always be in our Microsoft Teams. That'll be a running thread of our class, so you can always go back and see any of them there. But I will also upload each recording to my YouTube channel and embed, to the extent that it will let me. Canvas isn't always awesome, as I said, the video right there. And the 2 questions are just, did you watch the discussion? So it's not to do any work. You'll watch the same 20 minutes that you might have watched if you were passively there. And then there will just be a couple of questions. And I keep sharing that one question when I was still working from my dining room was, why did Dr. Wagner start bleeding in our discussion today? And it was just because my rude cat came up and decided to scratch me open, right? So, and sometimes there will be trick questions. Last semester I said, about a classmate that had shared, what was her cat's name? and it was like she had a dog, and it's like, right, that was a "Are you listening? Did you really listen?" But in any case, I'm open to your feedback, even if it's critical and even if I don't agree with it. So I just said, okay, great, you listened to the discussion is all I'm really looking for. And so you can go in right now to all the discussions and pick the one you would like to participate in actively. They're all open. And so you'll see them if you click. We have a total of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the only one, the last one, ask a grad student, I would ask that the grad students anticipate being there as active, simply because at that point, the rest of the class will have looked at your extra graduate project and we'll have conversations about the different projects there. Again, it's not a requirement that the grad students are there, but that is the topic of the final discussion. So we will go from there. So sign up. And if you can't end up making it, that's fine. I do appreciate the communication of, ooh, sorry, I forgot about this, or I wasn't able to make it after all. And I do appreciate, so far, as long as I've been doing this, which has been a couple years now, we do have plenty of people who sign up, so it's fine. And if you really love discussing, join us every time. I'm okay with that too. But I like the flavor that it adds to the class, because then we get to actually communicate with each other and have a conversation, right? Versus you need to read everybody's thing and then post a 300-word response and then react to 2 other people. And it's like, are you kidding me? It's like a full-time job to engage in those appropriately as a student. But then think about on the instructor end, if I've got 60 of you in here, to have to do that is just a waste of time. So let's get together a few times, at least a handful to a double handful of us, and have the conversation and then move on. How about? Okay, what's next? So the first one, okay, grades is the next tab. So do make sure you're keeping track of grades. Grades is something on Canvas that I don't love. There are still some glitches, and I'm sure some of them are things I still need to learn, but some of them are definitely just Canvas does not do this well yet. So we'll keep working on that. I do use the new quizzes if you're familiar with Canvas, and so they do require the Respondus Lockdown browser, but there's a practice quiz, so you can set that up, and I'll give you more information when we get there. It's not proctored, but the Respondus browser is there, so we'll talk about that more when we get there. And then I leave the people chat open for you, or the people tab, pardon me, open too, so then you can see each other and you can communicate more directly. I know you all generally like to have a GroupMe behind the scenes as well, so that's cool. However, I always, I'm like, I'm not in the GroupMe, which is cool, but if you're all having a conversation without me, somebody usually will tag me and say, Dr. Regner, we're having this conversation about this. Can you clarify for us? So I'm not saying don't GroupMe, but just, take the advice from other students in the GroupMe with a grain of salt, because no one's connected to me in that section at all. And then if you're brand new to Canvas, you might want to check out the settings at the bottom. And so at the very bottom, you can adjust the settings, and there's where you can upload a photo of yourself if you would like to. There's where you can indicate more publicly what your pronouns are. So as people are addressing you specifically, they are aware of that. And then you can also adjust some of the things like, how often you get the communications and things like that. But you do want to be careful about how many of those you turn off, because if you turn off my communication to you, I won't see that. There's nothing I can do about it, and then you're going to miss out. In the trainings, there was some conflicting information where it said the inbox was going to stay in Canvas and never get to our emails. I haven't found that to be the case. I have found that when you message me in Canvas, it comes to my email as well. So you can message me either ways. I'm fine with that. So then when we get into the modules is where you'll see each of those things that we go through, right? And the book, let's talk about the book real quick. So I love the book, even though it's starting to get a little bit old. I am working with the original author and the publishers I did work with a publisher to get it reprinted. I'm trying to work with the original author to get it updated and redistributed. So it is a little bit difficult to find sometimes, especially when it's pretty large, but it has been with the book for quite a while. So you'll notice there was a point in time where it was available free online. So there are certain chapters that you'll find where I still have that. And so I've provided that there for you, but do expect to need the text, and then we will go from there. All right. So the last thing is that I would just like to ask each of you to, make sure you look around. Last semester was a pretty rough one for me. I was teaching 5 classes as well as being the program coordinator for both integrated health studies and health education and promotion, which is 11 concentrations, as well as teaching 5 classes. So it was kind of a lot. And so I had to then institute a 3 then me policy, and it's a soft policy, but I'm just kind of asking you that before you reach out to me with a question, which I'm more than happy to meet with you. I have my office hours each week. I'm teaching in person, or actually HighFlex, on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 11 to 12:15. So my office hours are Tuesday from 9 to 10:30, Tuesday and Thursday, sorry, and then Wednesdays from 1 to 3. But I'm here every single day, usually from 8 or 9 at least. This Friday I'm starting at 7:30, for example, until usually about 3 at the latest, because I have dogs that I generally need to get home to. But so if the office hours don't work for you at that time, let me know. If you're in the building and you're taking other classes, feel free to stop by anytime. My door has a little sign that'll say, I'm in here, just knock, or, I'm not here, but I'll be back in an hour, or whatever. You'll see I have a little pegboard. I have to watch the way the sun moves. And then I'm also more than happy to meet with you virtually, even if you're, well, no, this is entirely online. So either way, I've gotten used to the flexibility of, let's do a quick Teams chat or whatever. So we can do that as well. Just schedule it with me. All right, so I definitely think I've over-talked. So I apologize for that, but I'm so happy to be back and to be participating in this class again and to get a second chance at Canvas, because like I said, I cleaned up a lot last semester, so I'm a little excited about how that might work this semester. All right, that's all from me. By the time you're receiving this video, which is not going to be today, or maybe it will, I don't know, it'll be, the course will be published at that point. So once you are receiving this communication from me, the class is open and you're welcome to go in and start kind of playing around, keeping in mind that each module is going to open up differently. So for example, module 1 says it will unlock January 16th, but that's not true. As soon as I get the course ready, I may adjust that. So we'll see how it goes. All right, take care of yourselves. You all still have some time before you have to come back. Keep yourself safe. Omicron is still out there invading everybody, and our numbers are still pretty high in our county and in our state. But hopefully we'll get through this, version of the virus and move on very quickly. There will be more, but we'll learn to handle it. All right. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop now. I'm just blabbing. All right. Bye-bye.